Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. Some big transfer news this Sunday. Chelsea are doing some good business around Ugarte and Caicedo, which I think will be massive for them. But we're going to start off with this huge story around Real Madrid and Harry Kane. We know that Benzema is leaving Real Madrid, and the interesting question is, who will they replace him with? Mbappe is very, very difficult. Sources this morning, it's all over the news, that Real Madrid, Ancelotti want to go for Harry Kane. Now look, I think this is really interesting. Manchester United would love to buy him, but of course, that's a Premier League rival. We know what Spurs are like. We know what Daniel Levy's like. But Spurs have good relationships with Real Madrid. And people will instantly say, well, he's not going to go, Mark, because he won't be able to break the Premier League all-time goal-scoring record by playing for Real Madrid in La Liga. But I think that's a nonsense. I don't actually think it matters that much, because that's a little bit like saying my plan is to stay married to my wife forever, and then Miss World knocks on the door and says, do you fancy a couple of years with me? Like, you know, you might just fancy that couple of years. You can always come back. You can always come back and say, I made a mistake. You know, he can always come back to the Premier League when he's 33 in 3 years' time, play for a few years and break the record anyway. So, but even then, I don't. I mean, look at Alan Shearer. What's more important to Alan Shearer? Well, probably breaking the all-time Premier League record, because, you know, it's about goals and he's selfish. That's what strikers are like. But really, the highlight of his career should be a Premier League winners' medal for Blackburn. Look, Harry Kane has to make his own choices, but really, if you've got the opportunity to go and play for Real Madrid in the Bernabeu in Spain, you're going to win at least one La Liga in 2 or 3 years there, aren't you? You might even win the Champions League the way that Real Madrid do it. I think it makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's very logical. I'm surprised it's not really been spoken about enough. Real Madrid have always liked Harry Kane. Harry Kane, I mean, look, I get why he'd like to play for Man United. I get it. You break the Premier League record, you stay in the Premier League, you go to a bigger club, you've got more chances of winning things. There's no guarantee you're going to win the league at Man United. As a United fan, I would say that. The chance for Kane to win things was when he could have gone to Spurs Man City a couple of years ago, and for whatever reason it didn't happen, and they bought Grealish and he stayed. Real Madrid, if they want him, then he really should do that deal. You know, even speaking as a United fan, that I know he'd massively improve us, I don't think we can get that deal done, because I just think Spurs will dig in. But Real Madrid, why is Spurs keeping Kane then? I mean, Spurs are not going to do anything in the next year. They're not going to be in the top 4. They're not going to win anything. They're going through another rebuild, and then Harry Kane won't sign a contract and you'll lose him for nothing. I get why Spurs don't want to sell him to a Premier League club. Completely get that. I still think they should do it if it's the only option on the table. But if you've got the option to sell him to Real Madrid for 80 million and pocket 80 million and he's out the Premier League, why would you not do that? I think that would be something that maybe Spurs fans in the comments can tell us. Surely that's the most logical thing to do, because then Harry Kane goes, he remains a Spurs legend, which he should do anyway, and he's scoring goals for Real Madrid. He's not doing it for Man United or Chelsea or anybody else. So I think it makes a lot of sense. I suppose the big question is it the right deal for Real Madrid? Is Harry Kane the right deal for Real Madrid? And I actually think he probably would work quite well for them, because if you look at the way that he plays with Son and Kulusevski when it works, dropping in, you've got Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo either side, you've got a midfield that's going to have Jude Bellingham in it, Camavinga's in it, Valverde's in it, Modric will still be there. It'll be a different Real Madrid, but it could be a really good Real Madrid. I mean, Benzema, I don't know whether Spurs could do a swap deal. Benzema is world class, but I think Benzema is obviously going to tail off just because of age. I think Harry Kane to Real Madrid makes a lot of sense. Whether it will get done or not, well, Real Madrid tend to do what they want to do. Spurs will really have to look at this and say it's logical. So again, I think it just comes down to whether Harry Kane wants to do the deal or not. Should he do it? Let us know in the comments. I think he should. I think he should leave Spurs anyway. I mean, if he stays at Spurs and, you know, missed that Man City boat 2 years ago, misses the Man United boat this summer, misses the Real Madrid boat to stay at Spurs and break a goal record, that's great for him. That is absolutely great for him. But surely in 10 years' time when he's retired and he goes, well, look, I stayed at Spurs, I broke the goal record, but I won nothing. And then you think, I could have gone and had 2 or 3 years in Spain. Because the great thing about Real Madrid is you could go there and have 2 years and then they go, there's another striker we want. So I think he can come back to the Premier League in 2 years' time. I do. I think it's really logical. We'll have to wait and see if it happens. But give us your thoughts on that. Also on to Chelsea. Now I've said I think Chelsea might struggle next year. They might struggle next year. I think Chelsea are the big unknown. They've got a new manager, no Champions League football. They've got an ownership model that's been very sporadic. Obviously, players are lining up to leave, like Kovacic, Mason Mount. But with Enzo Fernandez already there, and their desire to bring Ugarte in from Sporting Lisbon and Casido in from Brighton, I mean, if they bring those two players in within Enzo Fernandez, look, it's very hip. The hipsters are going to love it. But a midfield three of Enzo Fernandez, Ugarte, and Casido, I'd take that. I think Arsenal would take that. Yeah, definitely. United would take that. Liverpool would take that. It doesn't, I love the summer transfer window because people, I did it last year. I felt like Spurs won I actually said Spurs won the summer transfer window last year. And that, I still stand by it. I mean, you look at some of the players they bought. I really liked the idea of Jed Spence. I thought Basuma was a really good signing, and I thought Richarlison was a good signing, and they did do others. And I thought for Spurs, building on a team that had just got top four, I thought it made sense. But it just goes to show, we will, but you cannot say, oh, they're going to have a good season based on a summer transfer window, because it can go wrong for a multitude of reasons. But look, Ugarte looks fantastic. Manuel Ugarte, Sporting Lisbon. This is a midfield monster. He's just brilliant at winning the ball back and tackling and tenacity. And, putting that in the midfield for Chelsea is going to improve. We know what Casido can do. If Chelsea can do those two deals, then I think that is really, really good business. The question mark has to be, why are Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester United, even Manchester City, Newcastle, why are they not looking at these deals? Why are Chelsea getting a run at Casido and Ugarte, who for me are two of the most exciting midfielders in European football, young as well, that could become, the next Kante and Kovacic, and I'm not saying they're like those sort of players, but they really could replace those two players. And yet Chelsea don't have Champions League football. They don't even have Europa League football. So surely if Arsenal or somebody else go in, then they're a more attractive option. It worries me a little bit from United point of view, actually, because United do need somebody that can do the Casemiro role. And although we've been linked to Declan Rice, he could well go to Arsenal. And then you look around and you go, oh, Ugarte and Casido have gone to Chelsea. Well, we've missed out on three there. So it's going to be interesting. But look, Chelsea's recruitment, whether it's sporadic or messy, is always pretty effective in getting what they want. And I think that those two would be really interesting. On paper, it looks brilliant for them. But let's see how it works out. Because, look, Pochettino is a decent coach. And if Chelsea are listening to him, then I think that would be quite positive. I'm ultimately very excited about this summer transfer window. I think it's going to be really interesting, and it's not just about what happens in the Premier League as well. It's about what happens in Europe. We've mentioned Victor Osimhen. I mean, look, if Osimhen goes to Chelsea and they get Ugarte and Casido, I'm sure they'll do other business, but I think that's a bloody good start. So we'll see. Spurs, well, look. Where's Harry Kane going to go? Is he going to go anywhere? Get your comments in below. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. Don't forget, we've got our last watch-along of the season on Saturday night. It's Inter Milan against Manchester City. But we've got loads of content for you throughout daily anyway. So make sure you smash a like and subscribe. Get your comments in below. I'll speak to you on the next one.